Good evening. Welcome to the Alan Osborne Show. It's been a while. It's 7 February. I haven't made any shows for a while, but at this point, I think it's necessary because the shit show that's going on in the county can't be made up. Okay. I don't even know where to start. I think I'll start with a couple of times ago with the moron of the month has got to be this man, Boots McCormick. I mean, the stupid shit he has done lately really just can't be gone in depth enough over. I don't know what else to say about it except he's just been an idiot. And he's joined by a cast of idiots. You got him, and you still got the lingering idiots, and really we're still feeling the effects of the fabulous 5 fart heads right here. This was the worst BCC probably ever put on the earth. So here we are right now. And here's what's happened. Boots has resigned as the chair. If you can imagine the shit show that has gone, they tried to ambush after the firing of Quinn. And what we got now, if everybody's unfamiliar, see, go reach back into my old pictures and see if I can't find him here. Get my glasses on here. And Stan Sunday is now the county administrator, which is used to be the assistant administrator under Larry Jones. And now Stan is at the helm. And what's really interesting about that, see if maybe I don't have a picture of Stan. I thought I still had one. There he is. There's Stan. Anyway, if you go watch the meeting about the hiring of Stan, that shit caught me out of left field. Okay, Stan was fired and then threatened to sue the county, so they paid him for a year to sit home. Now, if you don't know the reason behind the shit show in Walton County, to all you newcomers, and maybe some of you are old comers, I want you to know what the common denominator of the shit show is in Walton County. It's law enforcement. And it all centers around the Defuniak Police Department and the Walton County Sheriff's Department for the past 40 years. And all these guys that are seeking leadership all came from the Sheriff's Department, as did Stan. Now, interestingly enough, as soon as Stan was voted in, Boots said that he could work with him, but he wished him the best. He couldn't. He gave basically this speech about how the chairman and the administrator that had to have this special relationship, and I guess they're not going to have one, him and Stan. Because here's what the deal: we don't know if Stan's dirty and he's just another faction, or Stan, this is your opportunity to prove that you're Mr. FBI Academy graduate and that you're the guy who wrote the investigation on Mike Atkinson. You're the guy that Danny, and it appears Danny and Mike Barker schemed to fire. What did Larry Jones say? Boy, they are on your ass, I believe was the quote from the letter. So here we are, Boots resigns. And take note, people, Boots is a wasted name on the ballot. If he stays on there, it's only because they promised him a job at the county, which I heard Shipman did too, is where we got attorneys and cops running our government. Y'all see a problem with this? This is a problem. So let's see if Stan does the right thing. Because if Stan does the right thing, he'll have to continue looking into some of the stuff Quinn and Joe Turner was, and he'll have to enforce the law. Or will Stan just become another faction of the good old boys as a placeholder while they regroup and circle the wagons? Who the hell knows? But Boots, hey, let me ask you something. If you went up to somebody and told them in a public forum, I'm going to take you out in the parking lot, kick your ass, and put you in the hospital, would you consider that a communicated threat? Evidently, the state attorney and Chief Hurley of police, the Defuniak Springs Police Department, don't think so. It does not rise to that, evidently. And we won't even get into battery. So we'll wait and see what the report says. That was a breakdown of Boots. We've had massive free speech violations if you haven't kept up with this shit. It is unbelievable. And the latest thing, Boots has an add-on of removing Fred Tricker, who spoke as a citizen. Evidently, if you're on the planning board, you can't speak even as a citizen. Now, Fred said he wasn't speaking as a planning board, but they want him off. You know why they want Fred off the planning board? Because he's the most knowledgeable person up there. Boots doesn't want that. Boots doesn't want the truth. Let me tell you what else. Sorry, Stan. Let me tell you what else Delbert dumbass hadn't done. Boots. Hey, Boots, remember when you went out in the audience and said you were going to get to the bottom of the Sandestin issue? You didn't. And when I sent you emails showing that Clay had not complied with a motion made by the BCC, a direction for him to do something for 2 years, you didn't do anything about it. And remember when you went out into the audience and told all those people that you would get to the bottom of Sandestin, you couldn't even read the paperwork you got sent. You couldn't do nothing. The only thing you could do was you don't understand free speech. Now, Boots, weren't you a lifelong Democrat until you wanted to run for office? Didn't you just vote straight Democrat? This is a problem. We can't have dumb ex-cops. And oh, by the way, I believe Stan Sunday's the one who demoted Boots and got Danny fired. I know he got Mike Barker fired, but Danny had a problem at the jail and Stan had to take that over. You just can't make this shit up in these relationships. You got lawsuits left and right. Boots has got himself, he's probably going to get 4 or 5 people's problems from lawsuits over him stepping on people's constitutional rights for free speech. Listen, you stupid BCC former chairman. You don't have to like what we're saying. It's not your choice. You can't direct us to what we can and can't say. It's not as long as it's not extremely profane. You don't have to comment on it. You can sit there like hundreds of meetings before you ever serve Boots. You don't have to comment on it, but you can't tell people they can't address their grievances before they're elected officials. And that's what you're doing. You're saying, I don't want to hear it no matter what. And you don't get to do that. You clearly did not watch Schoolhouse Rock as a kid, and you don't understand the Constitution, because people go, whether it's the President Obama or President Trump, somebody will be standing in front of the White House, and people in Congress tell each other their distaste for what's going on all the time. And somehow you think we don't have that right. We're throwing you out of office. You'll never stay in. And that's how that is. You don't deserve to be in office. You're just an idiot. That's Alan Osborne's opinion. You know, you just, like I said, you're about to get a lawsuit crammed up your butt. Everybody, this guy's cost us a fortune from the, and you know what the shame of it is? When the Boots called me out into the hallway, that dumbass, I came up there with Suzanne to support him, not supporting Robert Nelson being on anything. Because Boots said he couldn't stand him. But here again, we got the trio of idiots, and somewhere behind the scenes, what's happened to all this stuff? What's all happened to all this stuff and the computer stuff? Ain't nobody's asked me nothing. I think these are all just false allegations out there floating around. Let's look at this staff that Corman had there. What does Scott Brannon do for a living? Do you guys know that the person who wrote the operations report was somebody who had to leave the county because of assault charges against his wife? And there was an investigation going on. He's quit now too. You just can't make this shit up. But most of our problems in the county revolve around this. This Atkinson and this Atkinson. For God's sakes, I hope somebody runs against these fools. And of course, we got the Cheshire Cat in the middle of it. Corey, what you snooping around with for old Mike? What are you calling around asking questions for? You trying to figure out who's got the pictures? Is that what it is? Yeah, somebody's got them out there, Corey. Ooh. No, it couldn't happen to a finer person. Play the trumpets. There's our legislative liaison. I don't know what to think about it, people. I'm going to be starting a new show soon. I'm going to talk about the U.S. politics, and it's going to be on a separate channel, but you ought to tune into that because, folks, the problem is that the Walton County, and if you watch, you need to go watch the last TDC meeting. I'm not a big TDC meeting fan, but watch what Tim Taylor talks about the tragedy. But here's the tragedy. There's about to be a massive collapse. We've overpassed our infrastructure. We didn't have enough beach before we had 3,000 deviations of the comprehensive plan. And you know something? Matt Carpenter and them are out there approving and not telling people what's going on. And we're just wildly still developing stuff that nobody's going to want because of 3 magic letters: return on investment. And nobody wants to come to Walton anymore. Not like they did, or not like it's being pitched, because there's not a beach. There's not enough beach. So what are you going to come here to do? You might as well be in lower Alabama somewhere if you're 5 streets off the beach with no access. Why are we still granting deviations? Why are we dividing up land when we don't have schools? We don't have ball fields. Freeport, wake up. You real people of Freeport, y'all are about to do to Freeport what was done to South Walton. You're at gridlock. You're building beyond your infrastructure, and nobody dreams of moving to Freeport and living in a condominium complex. That's not the American dream. You don't have the infrastructure for what you're doing, but nobody wants to put the brakes on it. It's sad on the Alan Osborne Show. It's come to this: open borders and a complete mess. You know, the Sandestin is probably closer to more money than that, but this is where we're at. Lawsuits. That's the citizens in front of the BCC. This is how Boots would have handled all of us. I don't know. We're just clueless. When I think of Boots and Mikey and Clay, this is the only image I can get out of my mind is, God, is he thinking or is he taking a dump? You can't make this shit up, people. We got problems. And they started from there and they continued. And here we are in the election, and I'm telling you that these people have got to go. This is bad. And these 3 ex-deputies right here were at the center of all of it. It's time to stop. I don't know why. If you deputies want to be in charge of government, then go learn to do something besides carry a gun and be a thug, because that's what we've had here. And if you haven't seen your deputies, how they're treating citizens and what Atkinson is letting happen, and the intimidation factor going on by the bailiffs at public meetings, then you haven't been to one lately. You just can't make this shit up on the Alan Osborne Show. If you'd like for me to speak at your event and tell you what's wrong with the county, I challenge you to call me to your event. You know, if you're North Walton Republican Club, I'd like to speak to you. If you're the Mason Club, let me tell you what some of your members are doing under the Constitution. We'll have to admit the truth if we want change. But right now, I think most of the people in Walton County have a vote of no confidence on the BCC. And that's the way it was on the Alan Osborne Show. You can't make this shit up. You know, lions and tigers and bears, oh, hell no. We're not scared of that. It's lawyers and Atkinsons and lies is what the problem is in Walton County BCC, and a few ex-deputies. You can't make this shit up. Y'all get involved. It's a voting year. We got to do something different. And y'all come to a meeting and stand up. If you don't stand up soon, you may have to sit down in the country formerly known as America. Y'all get on your feet and do something. And that's the way it was on the Alan Osborne Show. I'll see you next time. Y'all keep them straight. They'll never keep themselves straight.